Welcome to UAPB's Prom of the Golden Era. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our royal court. Please stand as I call your name. Dr. Stephen Broughton, University of Arkansas Board of Trustee member, accompanied by his wife, Dr. Cheryl Broughton. Dr. Lawrence Alexander, Chancellor, UAPB, and our First Lady, Mrs. Veronica Alexander. And our honorees for the evening. Honoree Ms. Bunya Baxter. Honoree Wiley A. Branton Jr. for the late Wiley A. Branton. Honoree Mr. Marty Castile. Accompanied by his wife. Honoree Dr. Christy Walker. And honoree Dr. Torrance Walker. Please allow me to introduce our MC for the night. He is the Corporate Vice President of Public Affairs for the Southern Area of Waste Management in Atlanta, Georgia. A native of Arkansas, he graduated from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff and obtained his master's in secondary education from Prairie. Janetta, who is also a graduate of UAPB, and their son Calvin Jr. reside in Southwest Atlanta. Please help me welcome our host for tonight, Mr. Calvin Booker.
Give yourselves another round of applause. You're looking great. If I could see you, I probably could say that this light is blinding me tonight. But for what I can see, you looking good, all right? Good evening.
Good evening.
It is an honor tonight to be, truly an honor to be here tonight to celebrate with you all these remarkable individuals who have given so much of themselves to this institution. And as I look around the crowd, so many of you have given so much over your lifetime. So we want to celebrate everybody tonight, but we do have these special people that we want to give some attention to tonight as well. It's been said by one of the old legislators, one of the longest serving legislators in the country, said if you see a turtle on a post, he didn't get there by himself. Somebody helped him. And as you look around tonight at all of you, but especially our honorees, they've helped a lot of people with scholarships and opportunities. And we want to say thank you to them tonight in a very special way. We at Waste Management, of course, we bring greetings to you from Waste Management Corporation, 43,000 plus employees. Jim Fish, our CEO. We believe in education. Somebody says, look at why do you all do this? Why do you sponsor this event? But we believe in education. And we know education brings opportunity. Education helps the workforce. Education helps give us a chance and give us an opportunity. So we are involved. We'll continue to be involved. We thank the Chancellor and the executive group for giving us the opportunity to share with you and be a part of this event. Again, we want to thank all of you for your participation. We thank you for all that you do. I also want to take a personal privilege. A young man asked me, he said, Mr. Booker, why would you go to UAPB? Why did you go to college? I said, well, you know, education is one reason you would go. That's one reason. So I want to take this privilege to introduce my wife, Janetta. Where are you, sweetheart? She's with me. She's from Pine Bluff. She's a UAPB person. 2 degrees from UAPB. And she's from Pine Bluff. So I'm always a second tier when it comes to UAPB because she was born and raised in Pine Bluff. So a young man, I told him, I said, no, one reason you come to school is to get education, but there's other reasons you come to college as well. Yeah, some other reasons. That's just one good reason. One good reason. Let me say this before we move on. We know we have a lot of challenges at our institution. Institutions around the country. I serve on several boards, and most of those boards have the same issues. Everybody's looking for means and dollars, etc. But when you look at our honorees tonight, you look at all of you all who have given so much to this institution. There was a quote I thought this year that's worth mentioning, and it came from the basketball coach at Duke University. He had a young basketball team this year. I think he started maybe four freshmen been in, one upperclassman, and they was playing in Louisville. They was out of town on the road. They was like 20 plus points behind, and he got this young team. And he told the boys at halftime, they're down about 21 points. So he said, look, if you need, he said, we can beat this team. We can do this. He said, but if you need confidence, just look at me. Just look at me. And I thought there was some kind of quote. And when I get down and thinking about our needs at this institution, I just look at you all, and I find my confidence. And you never fail us, you never have, and you never will fail us. And then we can look at ourselves in tough times. We've made it this far, we'll continue to make it. And let's give dear mother a round of applause. Great institution. At this time, before we partake of our delicious meal, let's pause and give thanks. And I want to ask you to do something special tonight. I want you to say a prayer that only you can say as we have this moments of devotion and thankful for this food. Say a prayer that only you can pray. Amen. Okay. Let's come back to all as much as possible. Did I see Tommy May in the crowd? Did I see Tommy? Oh my. We all okay now. Tommy is here. Good to see you, Tommy. Good to see you. You're quiet. I know some of you just been served, so we can have your attention. We appreciate it. My wife hates for me to do that. It always works. It always works. I want to get your attention because at this time, we're going to bring the hardest working chancellor in the universe to the stage. A good friend of ours, we called him when his job was open and we talked him into it. He'd been here for a couple months, he called me and I wouldn't answer the telephone. So if you would bring our friend, our chancellor, Dr. Lawrence A. Davis. Alexander with a Lawrence with a U. Lawrence with a U. Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. Booker, for that great introduction. I think I'm supposed to give some greetings now. But thank you, Mr. Booker. Mr. Booker has been the chairman of our fund board for the last couple of years. He's doing a remarkable job. And before we go further, let's give Mr. Booker a round of applause. It is my great pleasure to greet you on this evening. Is this a great evening or what? I am enjoying the band's synergy. And I'm enjoying the company of 220 of my closest friends. It is an honor and a great pleasure that we express our sincerest gratitude to all of you for sharing this evening with us at the annual Chancellor Scholarship Gala. We would like to especially recognize the Mayor Shirley Washington. To recognize Chancellor Emeritus Dr. Carolyn Blakely. And I thought I saw State Representative Vivian Flowers. Vivian Flowers. and other public officials, and all of our community supporters. Moreover, I'd like to especially thank everyone who bought a ticket. Everyone. Yes. Everyone who gave a sponsorship. Everyone who gave a donation. Because your support and your presence here tonight make you our very special and distinguished guests. Thank you for your support. We're grateful for your contributions. This evening also is special because we celebrate the founding of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff in 1874. We celebrate 146 years of teaching, research, service, and outreach right here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. For 30 years, the last 30 or so, we promoted visual and performing arts and various cultural programs at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff through the vehicle of the Chancellor's benefit for the arts. The benefit was established by U.G. Dalton and Henry Linton Sr. to broaden the learning experiences of our visual and performing arts students beyond the formal classroom. However, beginning last year, we broadened the scope of the benefit under the name of the Chancellor Scholarship Gala, so that it now benefits students going into the arts, the humanities, sciences, business, agriculture, and education. And we increased the goal for this scholarship gala. You'll hear more about that later. Our institution is undergoing a change, improving each day in pursuit of the goals of our strategic plan. This change to a university-wide, community-wide scholarship gala is consistent with the change because the funds you contributed to this event will support the university's needs for funding for student success, which we define as the recruitment, retention, progression, and graduation of students. Just one example of the change that we're experiencing at the university was presented just last week at the Higher Education Coordinating Board when it reviewed data on student enrollment, retention, and graduation. Over the last 5 years, our institution has improved the first-year retention rate from 56% to more than 70%. Retention is a key indicator of future graduation in students. How does UAPB retention rate compare with other institutions in the state? I'm glad you asked. In retention rates, UAPB has moved from next to last to 4th in the state among public four-year institutions. We're now 4th behind University of Arkansas Fayetteville, Arkansas State University, and the University of Central Arkansas. Another way of looking at that is among universities with fewer than 10,000 students, UAPB is first in retention in the state. Every dollar you invest in this event will go towards the retention and graduation of students at UAPB. Much of it will be reinvested in the Summer Lions program, which encourages summer school attendance and contributes to the economy of Pine Bluff during the slow summer months. The rest attracts students and their families to Pine Bluff to experience the renaissance and the changes that are taking place for the better in our city of Pine Bluff under the leadership of Mayor Washington. Tonight, we have the opportunity to honor 5 unique and outstanding individuals. And we commend and salute those individuals, such as Mrs. Bunya Baxter, and a posthumous honoree, Mr. Wiley Branton. Mr. Marty Castillo. Dr. Christy Walker. And Dr. Torrance Walker. We honor them for setting a positive example through their hard work and dedication in their efforts in promoting growth of this community and promoting growth of our university. Because of the vested interest of our alumni, faculty, staff, our stakeholders, and community supporters, we continue on the path of greatness at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And there ain't no stopping us now. Again, thank you for your attendance and your support. We hope you have a wonderful evening for the rest of this evening. Thank you so very much.
Hey, I'm sorry about that. That's Lawrence with the U. Lawrence with the U. Lawrence with the U. Lawrence, it's hard to say Lawrence without saying Davis. We've been doing that for 100 years right now. So I hope you will apologize. But it's Lawrence with a U, okay? Lawrence with the U. Not to duck. Lawrence with the U. Waste management, of course, is an honor for us to sponsor this gathering. Did I see Mayor Washington somewhere? Yeah, how we doing? We getting the garbage picked up a little bit? We're good, all right. We would love to sponsor this event for the city of Pine Bluff for UAPB. It's always an honor to serve and serve the general public. We didn't do it by ourselves. If you would, please, this is very, very important. If you would, take out your booklet, please, everybody, take your booklet out. At this time, I want to give recognition to our presenting donors to this gala, to our scholarship. If you look at the names and the list of the names, of all those presenting donors, will you please stand? All are presenting. You see the names there, if you would, please stand. Please stand, remain standing. These are the people that gave us. I guess give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. To the Chancellor, I'm sure that was totally voluntarily. I'm sure it was. No harassment for that. Will the diamond sponsors please stand? See your names? All the diamond sponsors, will you please stand? All diamond sponsors. Thank you so much. With our platinum sponsorship, those who gave in the platinum sponsorship, will you please stand? Thank you so very much. And the gold sponsors, if you're here tonight, will you please stand? Gold sponsors. Thank all of you. Our silver sponsors, please stand. Everybody's important. Every big count. Silver sponsors, please stand. Continue to go ahead, City Sponsor. Let me see you. I'm getting old now, I can't see that far back. I gotta see you. Thank y'all so very much. Thank you so very kindly. Then we have our bronze sponsor. The bronze, please stay. Those who gave the bronze, please stay. Thank you so very much. I heard again this same elected official said to take coal to run a train, but to take gold to run a campaign. And this is exactly what we're doing. We're running a campaign, trying to get as much scholarship dollars as possible for these events. And I tell people, when you're working on behalf of the university and you're doing things for the students, you can't get sidetracked by people, because people will disappoint you. People will upset you. You have to stay focused on the mission. And for me, the mission has always been the students. I've always been the students. As a person wants for $50, he said, what I'm going to get? Make you mad enough to want to cut their heads, but you have to stay focused on the students. And this is why we do what we do. Now, the Chancellor kind of distinguished the difference between what we've done in the last 30 years and what we're doing this year with the Gala. And let me bore you with just a little story, okay? Now, this lead into, before we get into all the Gala stuff and present everybody, I know you're a little tired of it, but, you know, I'm here. I may not get this chance again, I probably won't, okay? So let me just take my time and hit myself. When I was in the 3rd grade, and I tell this on myself. When I was in the 3rd grade, the principal called my parents in and said, look, this boy is not that smart, okay? So now we can teach him either how to read or we can teach him how to write. We can't teach him both of them. He's just not there, Mr. Booker. And I overheard the conversation. So I was sitting in the back, I raised my hand, and you don't raise your hand when wrong people are talking. I just raised my hand. I said, can y'all teach me how to count? I'll pay somebody to read and to write for me. So I've learned how to count, okay? Y'all didn't laugh enough. I married well, okay? I married well. Do what you have to do, right? Married well. Said all that to say this. They told me that because I learned how to count, that they would make me a great Baptist deacon. I've been a Baptist deacon now almost 40 years. We had a goal for this event. And the Chancellor was back here crying, they've been wiping his eyes. He's still crying back there. He wanted to meet his goal. And we are so close to making history tonight. I mean, we're so close to making history. And I don't want us to leave tonight without making that history. I don't want to leave that. We are so close. We're so close. Now, I would have you to bow your heads and close your eyes. But we're not going to do that tonight. Okay? Just raise your hand quietly. I want people to see you. We're not going to do that tonight. I don't need much. I don't need much. But I'm just a little short. Before we get to all the glamour stuff, I want to make sure we make history tonight. Okay? Amen? Y'all got quiet on me. And my preacher say, ain't nothing on the floor. Look up. Look at me. Ain't nothing on the floor. Look at me. I'm talking. Ain't nothing on the floor. Look at me. I'm talking. Do I have anybody tonight just quietly raise your hand? If you give me $3,000, just quietly. I got one back here. I got one $3,000 back here. Just quietly raise your hand. I got another one. I see another one. We're not far off, y'all. We're going to make history tonight. We'll make history. Make history. Quietly. Anybody give me $2,000? Just quietly. Sister Book, let's raise our hand. Quietly. Just quietly. We'll have some $1,000 given tonight. Just real quietly. I think we about that. I got Mr. Christ there. I think I got something here. Do I have something here? 2,000 here. I got 2,000. Raise your hands. Let me see you. See, when we learn in the Baptist church, when you raise your hand and people see you, it influences them to give. You can't give them money to hold your hand in your pocket. It don't influence other people to give. Okay? So you got to raise your hand. You influence somebody else to give. All right? We have been very trained. I got another one. Still another hand over here. All right, Dr. Blakely. I think are we there, Mark? I think we're almost there. Do I have a $500 group out there? Just quietly raise your hand. Quietly raise it. We're trying to make history tonight. I wouldn't do this if we weren't trying to make history. We're trying to make history. Do I see a hand back in the back? I think I see a hand too back. Okay, thank you. I believe tonight if we collect what we just made, I think we will have made history tonight at this gala and this event for the net dollars raised. And this event was such a event of these over the last probably 30 plus years. Give yourself a round of applause. Okay, let's get down to business. You back with me now? You with me? Y'all feel me? Okay, let's get to business. Before we begin with our slate of honorees of our royal court, we must take into account that every court has an attendee, a critical person in a royal court. UAPB has been fortunate to have such a person in its presence for decades. This person is an unsung hero who move about taking care of affairs of the university, giving their all and doing so with grace and elegance. Tonight, we salute such an unsung hero. Roll the tape, please.
For over 3 decades, Florence Kane has held various positions at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. With an extensive background in counseling and mentoring, instructing, and academic advising, Ms. Kane has been a counselor, instructor, athletic peer tutor, and recruiter. Hardworking, diligent, and professional are all words to describe Ms. Kane, but compassionate describes her best. Her outgoing personality makes her magnetic to students. They know that with her, they can find a confidant, a good home-cooked meal, and a treasure trove for academic guidance and social graces. The attributes that she exhibits were learned from her mother, the late Virgil Virginia Raspberry Kane, who was well known throughout the community for her culinary skills and for being an exceptional homemaker and teacher. During her tenure at UAPB, Florence Kane has served on various committees at UAPB, and she has been recognized for her leadership, guidance, dedication, and professionalism by various organizations and groups. Ms. Kane is well known at UAPB for taking a personal interest in the lives of students and is an integral part of the university's successful recruitment efforts. It is no wonder that Ms. Kane has so many outstanding qualities, for she is the daughter of the late Dr. Rufus Kane, who was for decades a professor at AM&N UAPB and responsible for many students becoming medical professionals. Ms. Kane currently resides in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Please join me in celebrating Miss Florence Kane, our unsung hero.
It's my great pleasure to present this recognition and award to Miss Florence Kane as our unsung hero for this year's gala. Thank you for all you do for the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
I have really been caught off guard. Normally, I'm on top of everything. And normally somebody helped me or say something. And I kept saying that I'm being clueless. You all really got me tonight. But let me just say this to Dr. Alexander, who had a vision, the leader. You got me tonight. I truly love the university. There's nothing I wouldn't do for anybody, but there's one person that I really have to say thank you to, and this was the Albert Bennett. And the reason I have to say thank you to Albert Bennett. My father would normally have long talks with me at night, and he was a quiet person. But when he talked, you had to stop and listen. And one thing he said, I'm going to help you get back on campus, but once I help you, it's going to be on you. And so my father evidently was talking to Mr. Bennett, and Albert Bennett was the one that made it possible for me to be back on campus. And I thank you for that, Albert. want to say, I guess this is why all my cousins are here tonight. I don't know if anybody realizes I have 5 cousins in college right now. 5. I have a set of twins that are here working as urchins, but then I have 2 other cousins that are here also. So basically, they are my life. I do everything for them. But at the same time, I have my oldest cousin that's here, Ramona Hildreth. She's 86. Her daughter, and then I have John Flowers, Dr. Flowers, my band. I have Elizabeth, Lavita. I am just so touched. Thank you.
At this time, we will honor our honorees.
Our Chancellor Scholarship Gala honorees. Bringing to the stage our first honoree is presenting sponsor and the longest serving faculty member of the history of the institution, Dr. Freddie Hartfield.
Chancellor Alexander, Miss Veronica Alexander, UAPB Executive Cabinet, colleagues, friends, supporters, and alumni. If I missed someone, I regret that to a degree. I'll let you in on a secret. The founding of this great institution and the birth of the speaker kind of coincide. So for that reason, I had a birthday about 3 days ago. And one of the persons informed me, said, well, you've reached the age now that you can forget, omit, or just don't say nothing. I thank them for that compliment. I have reached that age, whatever he said. Well, some of you are wondering what that age might be. Well, the age is 59. Could you imagine? Does anyone have a problem with that age being 59? No. Well, if you do, I tell you what. If you will just take, I gave you 2 digits, right? 5 and a 9. If you just be kind enough to let the unit digit become the 10 digit and the 10 digit become the unit digit, you'll have a correct age. I am extremely honored to present to you a classmate, a friend, a loyal alumnus, dutiful Christian, and a world traveler. I identify these attributes because they represent a profound spirit. The honoree is a native of Stuttgart, Arkansas, where she graduated from Holman High School. Brother, or they put you out. in the year of 19 and 19, let's say 50, what? Okay, she doesn't want to tell me that. See, I'd ask her all these things, she wouldn't tell me nothing. All right? So, after graduating from high school, she immediately became a member of the freshman class who would enter the pillars of AMN the fall quarter of 1944. That's a long time ago. With some trepidation, she, along with others, were really ungettable of what fate awaited them here. Due to that time of our majors and the course outline and the curriculum, many of us were in the same classes. She was a very knowledgeable person. She was involved in many curricular activities where she held office as a student representative. After graduating from A&M College with a bachelor's degree in 1948, she enrolled in graduate school to continue her preparation for a career in teaching in the public schools of Arkansas. During this time, she was able to work and teach and go along with that. Her career would be, at this time when she began teaching, would expand some 40 years plus in the public schools of Arkansas, where she excelled among her peers. She was awarded citations, numerous citations, certificate, plaques, and along with that, on 3 occasions, she was voted the Teacher of the Year in the district in which she worked. Now, after their glorious career in teaching, she's retired from the classroom. However, she has not retired from supporting her dear mother, which we all love, and participating in her church and leading a very successful travel club. With all due respect, at this time, please join me in viewing some videos of one of our most distinguished honoree, Miss Beauty Lee Skinner Baxter.
I'm Beauty Skinner Baxter from Stuttgart, Arkansas, a 1948 graduate of A.M.N. College I am a retired educator. To receive this honor makes me feel very humble and thankful. With the class, that's one of the things that I try to encourage them, that when we give at our reunions, it's something that will help other students to make it. I became a part of the Golden Line family in 1944 when I graduated from Holman High School. And in September of 1944, I enrolled as a freshman at AM&N College. Members of AM&N was the discipline that we had. During that time, we were not allowed off the campus during the day. And we were in the dormitories before it was dark. Two of my fondest memories when I was in school was when Mr. Errol M. Lovelace became director of the Vesper Choir. I was a member for a brief time, but when he did his first Messiah, I was selected to be one of the candlelighters at the Messiah. So that was one of the fondest memories that I had. And then during my senior year, Mrs. Harrell had something that she called a black and gold ball. And I was selected as the queen of the black and gold ball. So that was some of the fondest memories that I had. Most of the students did not receive scholarships. More or less, the scholarships that they received was maybe if they were a senior, that they received a scholarship for being the top student in that class. But other than that, you didn't have a lot of scholarships that you received from different organizations or the school. We paid like $15 a month for room and board. Well, at that time, $15 a month was quite a bit of money to pay for room and board. The class of 1948 really started an interest in reunions with our 40th class reunion. And at that time, most of the class was retiring. So each year, we were able to generate so much for a college fund. And each year, I guess we decided that we would do a little bit more each 5 years than we did. And for our 50th reunion, most of the classmates secured the gold jackets, and we did the real fundraising. I've forgotten how many we had in that class, but we had a large class. And then from then on, we just started asking the members for whatever. What I loved about teaching is the ability to help young people see some progress in their lives. For instance, with first grade students, it's interesting when they began to learn to read, learn to add or subtract or whatever they did, and how happy they were to do it, and to think that that was the beginning of a successful life. It's a good idea to have the scholarship gala. I think that it is a worthwhile activity to generate funds for students who are in need or students who desire to want to better their lives.
Thanks to Dr. Hartfield for such a kind and thoughtful introduction. What more could you expect from a friend of nearly 75 years? I am forever indebted to you for your sponsorship. You are a shining example of what can be achieved with strong will power, and determination, a college dropout, and a sponsor of the gala tonight. To Dr. Alexander, the Chancellor Scholarship Benefit, sponsors, honorees, and all in attendance tonight, I am excited, grateful, and appreciative to be recognized as someone who has a positive impact. But I have been fortunate to impact others. It is only because I myself have been greatly influenced by positive people in my life. Number of individuals have shown confidence in my ability to accomplish great things, especially the members of the class of 1948. It is not at all Ms. McCall has been helping me with all of the goals and the activities of the class of 1948, which I am always grateful for. In 1983, the class of 48 contributed $500 to the Alumni Scholarship Fund. We had 30 members present at our 35th reunion. I was asked at that time to coordinate the next reunion. With the approval and the acceptance of my leadership and the support of the class, I accepted. Our contribution from then on increased significantly. For the total 7 years of our reunion, our total contribution to the college has been $212,045. 11 members remained as we planned for our 70th reunion last year. Our goal was to raise $70,000. How we were going to do it, we didn't know. We went to Dr. Hall for suggestion. She suggested that we honor surviving members and in memory of deceased members. My niece saw someone who was going to make a contribution to our class, and she told her that she was going to make a contribution because I had asked her and our class was going to do $35,000. We were hoping to get a matching fund. And she said, how are they going to do it with 11 members? So later on, I had a friend who was working with me, and she said, oh, our class is going to do asking us for $500. I said, oh, well, we're asking our class for 4 times that much. She wondered how a person with limited retirement benefit could achieve such a goal. I reminded her that it takes a committed few to do great work. One of the 11 classmates expired during our planning for the 7th reunion. However, 9 out of the 10 remaining classmates contributed $2,000 each in sum and several went to 2,500. And I tell you one thing that happened. We had one classmate, it was a couple, and he said, when we did our 55th, he says, Buny, don't ask us for $2,000 again. We've asked that for years. He said, because it's coming out of the same family. I said, okay. Well, we got into where we were needing money to make our $35,000. He would call and they would talk and they would ask us about the reunion. He never said anything about sending any money. So I finally just had to ask him, what are you going to do? He said, well, you promised me you weren't going to ask me anymore. I said, okay, but I tell you what, this is very important that we have this money this year. So if you send me the $4,000, I promise you I will not ask you next year. I don't know what will happen next year. Hopefully we won't have to ask him. It has been rewarding to receive letters of appreciation from students who have received scholarship aid from the class of 48. Before taking my seat, I would like to say thank you to my family, my friends, and my church members who are here to support me tonight. I'd like for Dr. Alexander and Miss Lucille McCall to come to the platform with me. On behalf of the class of 1948, we are humbled to present this plaque to be placed in Caldwell Hall, displaying names of active members and deceased members who made contributions, and contributions were made by family and friends in honor and in memory of them. The class of 48 for our 70th class reunion raised $41,165, making a total with the matching fund, $82,330.
Our next honoree presenter, George Macris of Simmons First National Bank.
It's my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce my good friend, Marty Castile. Marty is quite a gentleman. In fact, he defines that term. Marty is a guy that you will look to for leadership when others duck behind doors. At UAPB, for instance, Marty has served on the Board of Visitors. He has served on multiple search committees. In fact, probably some of you in the room owe your job to Marty Castile, who probably voted for you in some of those meetings. And Marty's leadership was certainly instrumental in the recent gift from Simmons Bank of $2.5 million to the university for the upgrade of the football and basketball facilities. Marty has been sought out by many community organizations for his leadership skills. Just a few of those would be the United Way, the Economic Development Alliance of Jefferson County, and Jefferson Regional Medical Center, where in all three he's held the highest leadership roles. And at Simmons Bank, which has taken up more than 30 years of Marty's work career. Marty has led our bank from $3 billion in assets some 6 years ago to $17 billion today. And the top 100 bank in the country, headquartered here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Marty's loyalty, dedication, and Solomon-like wisdom is sought by all, including me. In fact, he has talked me off the ledge more than just a few times. But I was trying to think about how to describe Marty Castile, and I think it's sort of like this. So we all have computers these days. We used to not. I think they were actually designed around Marty's thought process. Because what happens with Marty is you feed him all this data. He analyzes it, you push a button, and poof, here comes the right answer. And I depend on that personally. I appreciate Marty every day. And he is a great honoree tonight. So Marty, my friend, I hope you enjoy this video.
I'm Marty Castile. I'm President and CEO of Simmons Bank. As a banker, I have the opportunity to participate in other boards throughout the community, and I also serve on the board of Jefferson Regional Medical Center and the Economic Alliance of Jefferson County. I'm very humbled and very honored. I do know and I do feel like I'm representing not myself, but the many associates that are at Simmons Bank and our board and everyone that has worked hard to support the university through the many years. I just happen to be in the position of recognition, and I appreciate that. I've been with Simmons for 31 years. I began with the real estate and mortgage group, worked in several different positions throughout the organization, including the regional chairman for Southeast Arkansas, and been given many opportunities during my banking career at Simmons. Well, when I think of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff and Simmons, I see a lot of partnerships in their past and in their future. They're both institutions that have been rooted in Pine Bluff and Southeast Arkansas, and they've been instrumental in reaching beyond those geographic borders throughout the state, throughout the region, and it's just been a long and I think very valuable relationship for both institutions. I've had the opportunity to be involved with University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff in several roles individually. I had the privilege of serving on the Board of Visitors. I've also been involved in 3 separate search committees that were to find new people for the university, and I'm proud to say that I was involved in the search committee that brought the Chancellor to the university. So I've had the opportunity through those experiences to work closely with the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And in my banking capacity, I've been fortunate to be associated with a bank that cared deeply about the university and has supported the university for many years in many different ways. Recently, we were allowed by our board to participate in funding for athletic department, and I think that plays a role in every higher learning institution now in helping recruit students. It enriches the quality of life on the campus, and so I'm pleased that Simmons has taken such a active role and generous role in supporting the university. I'm very happy that the funds will go directly to students to further their educational opportunities. A quality education is a thing of value that comes with a high price tag, and the more that you can do to help students achieve and be able to participate in that life-changing experience, it's worthwhile. The first thing that comes to mind is just my admiration for Chancellor Alexander. I think he has demonstrated a remarkable ability to respect the heritage of the university, while at the same time he has a complementary vision of what needs to happen for the university in the future to better serve the many students in a rapidly changing world. The University of Arkansas, being an institution of higher learning, has provided a lot of leadership in this community for many years. I've had the experience to get to know many of those leaders and to help contribute back to the community that we are so fortunate to live in. Well, a story such as Grayland's is something that needs to be shared often. I'm just, astounded that someone can overcome those kind of odds and achieve. I think it says a whole lot about the spirit of an individual that can do that. But it also says something about an institution that will assist and make sure that happens. Give them that opportunity. And so it's very fulfilling to know that the university is doing something such as that to change lives, generational type changes for people that have overcome the types of challenges that Grayland has. Remarkable story.
Calvin, you like that music? George, thank you for that very kind introduction. Chancellor and Mrs. Alexander, thank you for hosting this tonight. Mayor Washington, the alumni and friends of the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, thank you for being here. I'm truly honored and humbled to be a part of this special event for such a worthy cause. Chancellor, last week at the ribbon cutting ceremony for Corey Hunter Baseball Complex, you observed that people were standing on the shoulders of men and women that couldn't come before them, and certainly that is my circumstance. I am here on the shoulders of the men and women of Simmons that have supported the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff for many years. Several of those people are here tonight, and I thank them for their legacy of serving their communities. I am also grateful for support that they've personally given me throughout my career, and I'm also want to say thanks to my wife for her unwavering support throughout my career. I'd like to take a few moments and comment about the long-standing partnership between the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff and Simmons and the positive impact this relationship has had on both institutions and certainly this community. I've been blessed, as the video said, to be a part of the Simmons family for 32 years, and I'm very grateful to the Simmons board members, past and present, many of whom are here tonight, that have provided leadership and vision to our organization. This includes a commitment to our stakeholders, and at Simmons we define our stakeholders as our customers, our associates, our shareholders, and very importantly, our communities. This commitment to our communities has been demonstrated in partnerships with the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, which resulted in betterment for all parties. And there are many instances and examples of these partnerships. Some have already been mentioned. I'll mention a couple more. Many of you remember George Walker and the work that he and Lee Hardman did in the initial stages of fundraising for Golden Lion Stadium. That turned out pretty well, a dream realized. And with us tonight is a semi-retired Simmons leader who truly loves the university, and he helped raise funds for a field house that now bears his name. This same man was a proud champion for UAPB during his tenure as a trustee for the university system. Catherine, I didn't mention his name. I know you're having a hard time keeping his ego in check as it is, but we all know who I'm talking about. And more recently, and George just mentioned this, with the leadership of George Macris and the Simmons board and the persistence and vision of Chancellor Alexander, Simmons was able to partner with the university with a significant gift that benefited the football and baseball programs and wonderful upgrades to Golden Lion Stadium, wonderful new pavilion baseball complex. And something that I'm also very proud of is Simmons participates in programs with UAPB interns. These are just examples of partnerships that help enrich the lives of students in the community and a testament to the results that can be achieved through cooperation. It is indeed an honor to participate in tonight's event, which will help fund scholarships for the university as it continues its mission of providing access and opportunity to deserving students. The University of Arkansas Pine Bluff has a proud heritage as an HBCU and holds a place of great importance to our community, state, region, and beyond. And access to education can be the pathway for transforming lives, and the university has been doing this since 1873. I want to commend Chancellor Alexander for his vision and leadership. I'm confident the university will continue to honor the traditions of the past while meeting the increasing important educational needs of a rapidly changing world. As the Chancellor frequently reminds us, there are great accomplishments to celebrate, but there is more work to be done, and our state, community, and alumni will need to continue to step up and support the university. To quote Chancellor Alexander, teamwork makes the dream work. So let's go, team. Thank you.
A member of the Chancellor's Cabinet, Janet Broers.
Good evening to Chancellor Alexander, honorees, family and friends. On behalf of the UAPB Executive Cabinet, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to honor Mr. Wiley Branton. A Pine Bluff, Arkansas native, Mr. Wiley Austin Branton was born in the segregated South in 1923. He was the second of 5 children born to Leo Branton and Pauline Wiley Branton. It is said that if you want to see change, you have to make change. Mr. Branton personified this adage. Before becoming a world-renowned famous attorney, he challenged the courts here in Arkansas. In 1948, Mr. Branton was prosecuted and convicted for teaching people how to vote and for voter fraud. Not being one to accept that though, not being one to accept status quo, he appealed the case to the Arkansas Supreme Court. The courts determined that he indeed was correct, and he was not involved in voter fraud, but indeed voter education. In 1943, Mr. Branton joined the segregated U.S. Army, initially assigned to the military intelligence, but later trained to build bridges in the South Pacific as a battalion construction foreman. After an honorable discharge in 1946, Mr. Branton returned to Pine Bluff to complete his college education and to work as at the family's taxi cab business. Mr. Branton completed his undergraduate degree at Arkansas A&M. We call it UAPB. He furthered his education at the University of Arkansas Law School, where he was the 4th Black student to enroll and the 3rd Black student to graduate. Upon completion of law school in 1952, Mr. Branton went into private practice here in Pine Bluff. But there was a larger calling on his life. In 1957, he answered that call to serve as chief counsel for the Black plaintiffs in the Little Rock school desegregation case. Although crosses were burned on both his lawn and the family cemetery plot by those who opposed his involvement in the Little Rock desegregation case, and although he received many death threats, harassing telephone calls, and angry letters, Mr. Branton persevered. He never wavered from pursuing his civil rights work. Mr. Branton served as a lawyer for many on the front lines of the civil rights struggle during the 1960s, occasionally outwitting a few Southern sheriffs into releasing people from jail. In 1978, Mr. Branton accepted a new challenge and became Dean of the Howard University Law School. He led the law school with distinction and honor until 1983, becoming the longest-serving dean of the law school in recent history. His career was a monumental part of his life, but his first love was Lucille E. McKee. In 1948, they joined in holy matrimony, and the couple raised 6 children: Richard, Tony, Wileen, Wiley Jr., Beverly, and Deborah. Mr. Branton was preceded in death by his daughter Tony in 1986 and his wife Lucille in 1997. He picked up his crowning glory on December 15, 1988, just 2 days after his 65th birthday. Now, it is very difficult to surmise the life of a man like Mr. Branton in a few words, but please welcome me In honoring him and his life and legacy after this clip, his son, Mr. Wally Branton Jr., will join the stage.
My name is Wiley Austin Branton Jr. I am the fourth child of Wiley and Lucille Branton. There were 6 children in total. It's been nearly 30 years since my dad passed away. He died in December of 1988. And, you know, as time has gone on, the people who actually knew him have passed on too. There are only a handful of folks who actually knew him. So the fact that he still gets recognized, not just here but in other places as well, really says a lot about the life that he led. And even though he was not a household name, certainly people in the civil rights movement knew what he was. So it's just very gratifying that he is still remembered and still highly thought of. So if I were to sort of characterize the significance of my dad, it really would be his work in the area of civil rights. Born in the segregated South, you almost had, if you were going to be a lawyer, you probably were going to be some type of civil rights lawyer. My dad ran for early political office in 1947, and they prosecuted him. They prepared some ballots. They tried to prosecute him for voter fraud because they had sample ballots. They were showing people how to mark ballots, but it said sample ballot. He actually got convicted, took an appeal to the Arkansas Supreme Court. They upheld his conviction, but a very conservative justice wrote that even a casual review of the papers would show that what my dad was engaged in was voter education, not voter fraud, and he would have overturned the conviction. But but he had to explain that the rest of his life. But in any event, he had any number of incidents like that from the very beginning where he was battling for civil rights. And I think he was most proud of his work as an attorney in the state of Arkansas because he gave black people, there were only a handful of black attorneys to begin with, and he was able to stand up to the power structure, to white people, and were able to get a fair shake for some of our black citizens that maybe they otherwise would not have gotten. That gave him tremendous satisfaction.
This was back in a time when we were just emerging from the Depression, and he sent a bill for $1,000. The company thought that was entirely too much because the man was only there about 5 minutes. And some smart aleck executive wrote him back and said, "We don't have any problem with your bill, but we would like to have an itemized statement." So this man sat down and wrote out an itemized statement. He said $10 for tapping, $990 for knowing where to tap, total $1,000. So as you practice law, you need to know where to tap.
You know, later in my dad's life, he became dean of the Howard University School of Law. He always took a special interest when there was a student there from Arkansas. And he was one of those deans. There were occasions when he went into his own pocket to help some student meet expenses. So he recognized the tremendous financial hardships that many students face when they go to school. So he would be all on board with any effort to increase scholarships and make education, college education, more available, and particularly to help strengthen any the black universities, or any university for that matter. So I think he would be enthusiastic about this event and the opportunity that it provides for students to achieve their education. Historically, black universities have always had a special role within the black community. First of all, in days of segregation in the South, that was all we had, to go to a segregated school. But once things opened up, I still think there was a special, unique mission that is still being served by our historically black universities. One of the things that I think our students get, and it doesn't matter whether you're black, white, or whatever, but I think you get a sense of mission and purpose that maybe you don't get going into some of the other schools that don't come from that perspective. So I still think there's a relevance for our historically black universities. I know that many of them are struggling, and I think it's just awfully important that we find a way to make those institutions continue to grow and to thrive and be relevant, which is a tremendous challenge in today's age, but it's necessary that that be done. The thing that I think distinguishing my dad is he really did not seek the spotlight. He saw a job that needed to be done. He was anxious to get the job done. He didn't have to get credit for it, but he often spread credit around. So whenever he spoke, and he had many speaking engagements all across the country, he would always do a roll call of the lawyers located particularly in the southern states who did civil rights work. Most of those lawyers were black attorneys, but not all of them were. And he could name you every significant civil rights attorney in every southern state, and he would do that repeatedly. Again, this was a man who wasn't seeking the spotlight for himself. He understood that we were on a massive mission that was of great importance, and the personal glory didn't mean anything to him. It was just getting the job done. He did it with integrity and commitment. You know, when my dad died at the age of 65, I thought he was an old man. But now that I'm 67, I know he was extremely shortchanged because I hope I have a lot of life left in me. Many of the things that I talk about since his passing and in my professional career, I really wish I could have talked to my dad in greater detail. When my dad died, I did not have the wisdom to pull him aside and say, "Hey, Dad, tell me about that time that this and that happened." Now that I have the wisdom, my dad is no longer here. But what I'm saying is, for the university to still honor him some 30 years after his passing is just very gratifying to my entire family. And I just wish that we had had some better conversations about various aspects of his life when he could have told me some things. I have so many questions for him now that will always remain unanswered. One of the things he had planned to do in retirement was to write his memoirs. He was an individual, if you ever heard him speak, you knew he was a great storyteller. And the thing is, his stories were true stories, but they were wonderful stories. And I wish he had gotten that opportunity. A professor at the University of Arkansas, School of Law in Fayetteville, did actually write a biography on him. It's entitled There When We Needed Him, written by Professor Judith Kilpatrick. So if anybody's interested, that book is there. I get no royalties from the book, but it is the only biography that was written on him.
Good evening.
Good evening.
At first I had some prepared comments and I threw those out the window. Then I wasn't going to say anything and I threw that out the window as well. I flew into Arkansas from Chicago today. Yesterday I attended the funeral of my wife's mother. Some of you all know her, Carolyn Gibson. She died at the age of 78, just a few days after her 78th birthday. And I left most of my family, including my brother and sister, in Chicago, and the family is sort of dealing with that situation. So Carolyn, by the way, was a graduate of Arkansas A&M. She worked here, and you all may remember Ernest Gibson. He was in food services back in the late 50s, early 60s, and they gave me my wife of 36 years. I didn't know at the time, and so Florence Kane went to J.C. Corbin Laboratory School. I know John Flowers went to J.C. Corbin Laboratory School. Is there anybody in here who went to J.C. Corbin Laboratory School? I got to give them a shout out. I see some other hands out there. There's some other folks. So that was the laboratory school for teachers at Arkansas A&M. And I think we did pretty well as a group, if I may say so. But in any event, I am here to accept this award on behalf of my dad. And what I would simply say is this: he would be very proud that 30 years after his death, the university has still decided to give him recognition. And my family is very grateful that the university has decided to give him recognition. It helps keep his legacy alive. And again, as I said on the video, he was not a household name, but his work was very important. And for many years after he died, it doesn't happen so much now, people would come up to me and say, "You don't know me, but I was in a jail in nowhere, Mississippi, and I didn't know that I was going to see the light of day again. But your daddy walked into that jail, they thought he was a white man, and he got me out." And I'm eternally grateful. So thank you.
Presenting our next honoree, Jay West, our very own Miss Junior.
Sabaidi Kapkua, San La Cern, Pranam Prajao. Bendito sea el nombre del Señor. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Good evening, everyone. I am Jay Sai-Chai West, a junior at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, majoring in multimedia communications from the capital city of Little Rock, Arkansas. I gratefully serve as Miss Junior for the 2018-2019 academic school year. I am also the 90th Miss University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff elect. It is with great pleasure and an honor for me that I introduce the next two honorees. It is an honor because, as a current student at UAPB, I understand the significance of what each of these honorees attained as students. It was their achievements at UAPB that catapulted them to the enormous career success and distinction in fields that they enjoy today. The honoree of this dynamic duo, ladies first, is Dr. Christy Walker. Dr. Walker is dual board certified as a gynecologist. She is one of the few gynecologists in the country who is fellowship trained in cosmetic surgery. She graduated summa cum laude from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff and was given the Chancellor's Medallion, which is awarded to the person with the highest GPA in the School of Science and Technology. She is married to Dr. Torrance Walker, an orthopedic surgeon. They have two sons, Torrance II and Noah. Dr. Walker has a strong faith in God, and she believes in being a good steward of the community and actively volunteering and supporting causes she is passionate about. Please direct your attention to the video.
Hi, my name is Christy Walker. I'm a gynecologist and cosmetic surgeon. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I'm the CEO and founder of Christy Walker Gynecology and Cosmetic Surgery in Plano, Texas. I graduated in 1997 from UAPB with a degree in biology pre-med or non-teaching. At the age of 12, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. My cousin, who was 4 years older than me, was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and she ended up passing away from that. And I just remember during that time feeling helpless and not knowing what I could do for her in order to help her, and my spirit was just burning to be able to help. And so it was that at that moment in time that I decided that when I grew up I would become a doctor. I believe that being honored today means that I'm fulfilling my God-given purpose. I support the mission of UAPB because I think that it's important for one to pay it forward. The university has very humble beginnings, just as I have humble beginnings. It has a rich heritage and a rich legacy. I'm very encouraged and excited, proud that this event benefits other students at UAPB. I was once one of those students who benefited from scholarships like this, and I think it's very important. Without those scholarships, many people, deserving students, may not necessarily have the opportunity to fulfill or to get a degree in order to fulfill their life's dreams, their goals or purposes. So I think it's really important in order to give back, and I'm deeply honored and just proud. Being an alum of UAPB has certainly changed my life as well as the lives of others that are involved. I am a second generation alum. My mother attended UAPB. Both of my in-laws, my parents-in-law, as well as my husband's grandfather is an alum of the university. So it's number one, it's a rich tradition and a heritage in our family. The relationships and the lifelong connections that I've made at UAPB have continued to has continued to be a part of my life today. To be a part of a select few people who have gotten this award in the past, I don't think I am deserving of it. I'm not quite sure who made this decision, but I'm very humbled, full of gratitude and just thankful that someone felt that the life that I'm living or the things that I'm doing and involved in the community deserve recognition. It feels good to be accomplished after receiving an education at UAPB, a historically Black institution. I'm just proud that I have been able to have the opportunities and to be able to challenge myself, challenge others around me, motivate myself to have the tools, the resources, the people who have helped to elevate me to where I am today. I didn't get here on my own, and it's my responsibility now and all of ours to pass on the torch to the next generation.
Good evening. First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life, to Chancellor Alexander, who has taken this torch that he has passed on, this rich tradition and this heritage, and is championing its cause, to the students that are being honored today, to the other honorees that I get to share this podium with tonight, to my husband and my best friend, my sons, my parents, my mother-in-law, my family, friends, and all of you are here that are here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. John, in the book of John 8:5 says that we must work, we must do the work of him that sent us while it is day, for night cometh when no man will be able to work. And Philippians tells us that I am confident in this, that he that began a good work in you is able to fulfill it. So the things that I do that I'm being recognized for today are the things that God has placed in me, and the purpose that has placed in me, and the love that I have for this university, for the students that are here. I'm just honored, I'm just grateful. In the prime of my life, I'm not done yet. There's still work to be done. I'm just looking forward to it. Thank you.
The next to be introduced of this dynamic duo is Dr. Torrance Walker. Dr. Walker is double board certified in orthopedic surgery and orthopedic sports medicine. He graduated summa cum laude from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. He earned his medical degree and specialty training in orthopedic surgery at the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences. The education he received at UAPB served as a good foundation for medical school, where he eventually received the Horace N. Marin Award, which is given to the student with the highest average in microanatomy. He was named one of the torchbearers of the new millennium for the Chancellor's Benefit for the Arts. He is married to the beautiful Dr. Christy Walker. Please direct your attention to the video.
My name is Torrance Walker. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm originally from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I currently practice in Fort Worth, Texas with Texas Healthcare, which is a multi-specialty group full of physicians. It's a physician-led organization. I'm a part of the Texas Healthcare Bone and Joint Clinic, which is an orthopedic clinic that's been part of Fort Worth for nearly 60 years. I feel as if I still have a lot of things to do in order to receive this honor. So I'm humbled, and I'm also energized because the things and efforts and accomplishments I've done so far are being recognized. So that energizes me to even do more. I'm also reminded of that I still have a lot of things to do. I have still a lot of work to do for UAPB, for future generations, for future students and people who are interested in medicine and health. So I'm feeling really humbled, energized, and reminded about what's important. Honor is more of an inspiration to me as well, and I think that it's inspiring to see people who are just doing what they're called to do, being honored, and I think it's an inspiration for others, people, students, and just it's good for the overall culture of UAPB. It makes me feel proud to be a part of this this event, to know that, hey, what we put into this event will eventually grow into something much bigger. So as an investor, you look at your return on investment, or an entrepreneur, you look to grow something bigger than yourself. So I feel as if I'm an investor in this event, and that the time, energy, and abilities, and the money that everyone in this event puts into it will grow, and the return on that investment is infinity. So I'm really proud to be a part of this event. One of the career-based accomplishments that I am really proud of is when I finished UAPB and then moved into medical school. That first semester, I was awarded the Horace N. Marvin Award, which is the award given to the student with the highest average in microanatomy. And the reason why I think that that's a big career accomplishment is because I came directly from UAPB, and I had a good background in microanatomy and human anatomy and physiology to be able to do that. And it just made it that much more obtainable to say, hey, I've graduated from UAPB, went to medical school, and already have made steps toward fulfilling my lifelong desire and dream of becoming a doctor. And UAPB is very important to our community. It's really specifically important to Pine Bluff, to the state, and to the nation. Really and truly, it was just divine intervention, I believe, because when I came to Texas, I realized that I still had a lot more developing to do and more maturing to do. And I knew it was more than just my strategic thinking or my intellect, but it's mainly God's will for my life to help me become the person that He wants me to be. Really being part of an alumnus at UAPB helps me join so many groups of organizations and people. And also being a part of UAPB, an alumnus, helps me in my life, because in the health field, there's so much cultural diversity in health. And that really mirrors what my exposure was at UAPB. It's really humbling to know that I am where I am, and I'm greatly honored to be an honor at this event. But I feel that I have a lot to do and a lot more that's coming. So.
Thanks, everyone. Like I said, I'm deeply honored to be here today, and it's it's a little, I'm a little nervous. I can say that for sure. And, I should have asked Dr. Flowers for a beta blocker. That would have helped calm my heart rate down. I'm a little nervous because I see so many people in the audience that has influenced us and inspired us and has contributed to our education and to our lives, and I'm so thankful for all of you. And I say, God is intentional because all of you have influenced us, and this university and is such a monumental thought, and only one being can do something like that, and I'm thankful for God for that. God is so gracious. He's a landowner, and Jesus said that a landowner planted a vineyard, put some walls up, made a wine press, and rented out to vine growers. And UAPB is a vineyard, and all the people associated with this university are vine growers. And I'm so grateful for everyone that has been involved with UAPB and our lives. And if the product of my life, my wife's life, and all the honorees' life is some realization of this vineyard, then all glory be God for that, and I'm grateful to be part of that. As the last name Walker, I'm usually in the last part of the line, or if you're graduating, you have to either make great grades to be put at the front of the class, or the front of the line, so you graduate a little earlier. So, but tonight I feel as if I'm rightfully put last in this endeavor because I'm deeply honored to be here amongst great honorees and great people here. So I'm good to where I am. And as a preacher, as you go to the last service, you can probably stay a little longer. So I can speak a little bit more. But I want to take this privilege too to congratulate my wife, Dr. Christy Walker. She is so fabulous, so wonderful, and she got that Chancellor's medallion in college, which was, I think her grade point out was like 3.95, and mine was like 3.92. So, and I can remember the professor who gave me the different grade. And he gave essay tests, and I'm just terrible at that. But she can talk. So she definitely deserves that. But in medical school, I got that Horace Marvin Award, and I'll tell you more about the story about that. But let me get back to honor my wife, who is so wonderful. And now she said she makes all these wonderful grades. She has to make A's too because her last name was Washington before she married me. But when she married me, her first name started with C, so now she comes ahead of me. She said ahead of me in medical school too. But she made good grades. She made A's, and she makes other grades too, like B's, C's, D's. She's beautiful. She's classy. She's devoted. The F's are my favorite. She is fabulous. She's fantastic. She's flamboyant. She's flamboyant 56 at Delta Sigma Theta. And she's fine. I'm really, I know I'm better with you. So I'm glad. But as a vine grower, as a vineyard, you put in seeds, you grow things, you grow students. And, as a seed, is the growth part is not always pretty. And my wife can testify to this. because, you know, she's seen me grow. And, you know, it hasn't been all pretty, and I'm thankful for God that He has given her a big heart and some squinty little eyes. and now she's getting a little bit, you know, nearsighted. She has to wear reading glasses, so it's even better because I'm getting the gray hairs and things. But you know, her eyes opened up a little bit tonight when I put on this tuxedo. So I'm thankful. So she's a witness on that. Of course, you know, I'm a product of UAPB, and so are many members of my family. If we take, you know, families together and kind of count everybody, it's probably got to be over 100 or so, or probably even more members of my family that attended UAPB, have gone on, and you know, most notably my father, may rest in peace, my grandfather, and all those who come before me, you know, blazed a trail, and even the flowers and all the members of AMDPA, SAMN, and I'm really appreciative to them. My mom in the office, in the audience is Dr. Jewel Walker. Her and my father met at UAPB. My father's David Earl Walker Sr. He's a dentist, and he went on to Meharry Medical College after attending UAPB. And so once for them, hey, you know, I wouldn't even be here. Probably going even to UAPB, but you know, so you know, of course they started it all. My uncle is in the audience, William, Dr. Walker Jr. He attended UAPB. He was part of the band and played saxophone. I knew you can give these guys and probably still play a little bit. But he also went on to Meharry Medical College and is an internist in Little Rock. You know, my brothers attended school here, but you know, first initially they went somewhere else. Maybe one of those schools you mentioned that had a good retention rate, so they didn't contribute to their retention rate. They came back to UAPB. So as being a third child, you know, I could watch my brothers, you know, make mistakes, do something else, and I'd be like, I ain't doing that. So you know, that's one of the things that contributed to my coming to UAPB. I saw them come back to UAPB, and I was, and I saw the other products of UAPB, all the doctors and everything in my family. So I knew UAPB could really help me out. You know, the other things that, you know, when we're thinking about, me and my wife are thinking about things that have helped us make a decision to attend UAPB, and those are quite a few things in and we went out and visited other schools, but we knew UAPB, we grew up around UAPB, and we were really familiar with the campus and the people on the campus, and the band, and the football, and everything, and all the rich heritage and the fun and everything we were thinking about it. And we knew it had good education, so we knew we were making a really good choice coming to UAPB. One of the things that kind of helped me make a decision personally was the fact that I played football in high school, and our coach at that time was moving on to coach at UAPB, and it was word that UAPB was going to go into the SWAC. And I said, oh, that sounds good. And then next thing, I wanted to play baseball, and I heard that UAPB was going to get a baseball team. So, hey, I was a part of the new baseball team from Bennett here. So that was one of the things that kind of sold me on it. And plus, my wife was going there. It's probably the main thing, but we kind of decided together to come to UAPB, and that was that's the decision that we really enjoyed, and we really appreciate now, and we're really honored to be here today. The next few are my sisters. I'm just going down my family, but just my sisters finished here, and my younger brother is an assistant professor here, but he attended Morehouse. But he came back and he's a professor here, and he just went to the National Society for Black Engineers as a conference, and he took, I think it was over 100 students to that conference. And I remember when we were in college, and we were part of the MBRS program, the Minority Biomedical Research Support Program, we went to all these conferences, San Francisco, DC, all these different places. Man, I said, so I told him, I said, man, that's really awesome that you're doing that. And I'm really proud of him. And I wanted to give him a shout out for that. And I want to say, keep it up, little brother. And, if you got some usually big brothers, let me know. So, while we were at this school, so I got energized to do histology at a younger class level, which I was going to tell you the story that kind of helped me get where I am. As I took histology under Dr. Mawasi. I know he had just recently retired, and we hated we couldn't come at that time because that's the time of the year where we're really busy with patient care and things. But I wanted to say that that class really prepared me for medical school. And not only did I have the highest average, but we had the highest averages in microanatomy. We also had the highest average in gross anatomy at the same time. But what happened was, because I was awarded that award, a couple of years later, the University of Arkansas for Medical Science was looking for a new chair of the anatomy department. So I was appointed on the search committee. So that was a real honor for me to be on that committee in medical school. But while on that committee, I met Dr. Aronson, who is an orthopedic surgeon, or retired now, but he was a part of the Department of Orthopedic Surgery there at UAMS. So, long story short, pretty much I met him on that, in that chair committee. I didn't know that I really wanted to do orthopedics at that point, but when I did my rotations and orthopedics was great, I was like, hey, I got a connection to the orthopedic department. So, and history is, I'm an orthopedic surgeon now, and I'm greatly blessed to be where I am, and I'm thankful for UAPB for its role in my education, my life, and my family's life, and all of you are here. So I'm greatly appreciative, and thank you very much for this evening.
Okay, we'd like to wrap this up. We'll get our auction winners in real quickly, okay?
All right, it's not over yet. No prom is complete until the prom king and queen are announced. Our prom of the golden era is no different. Now I present to you and ask that he please come to the platform, the king of our golden era prom, Dr. Lawrence B. Alexander. Every prom needs a queen. Mrs. Veronica Alexander, please join your king on stage. We're going to go ahead and announce our auction winners. The sculpture by Danny Campbell, the winner is Tamia Thomas. The Rawlings baseball bat, autographed by Torrey Hunter, is Bill Jones. The other Rawlings baseball bat, autographed by Torrey Hunter, Jeff Hawkins. Jeff Hunter. The baseball autograph by Torrey Hunter is Chef. He is the winner. The ceramic platter by Jane Bridges, Mary Benjamin. The painting by Gail Pitts, Charlotte Jackson. The painting by Karen DeJarnette, Charlotte Jackson. The print by Mike Cameron, is Bill Jones. The Arkansas Pine Bluff Pomcella's jacket is Veronica Alexander. Painting by Cambria Bailey is Cindy Trotter. Print by by Georgia Chambers, Myron Jackson. Drawing by Karen DeJarnette, Lisa Hunter. Painting by Jill Smith, Byron Jackson. Three-dimensional print by Kevin Cole, Diane Gilead. And the three-dimensional print by Kevin Cole is Myron Jackson.
Thank you all for those who won in the auctions. Quickly, I'm supposed to recognize all the important people. Will all important people please raise your hand? If you're important, please raise your hand. Thank you so very kindly. All important people raise your hand. I think the Chancellor did a good job at recognizing our chancellors, our faculty, our staff, administration, the alumni, and also the Chancellor's Gala Committee chaired by Dr. Margaret Hall. Thank you. Let's give Margaret a round of applause. Margaret standing in the gap for nobody else does, so we want to thank Margaret Hall for that. Okay, we also want you to, the honorees, to please stay back and take pictures with the Chancellor. I think there's other photos that may be happening after we close. Also tonight, y'all, just quickly, the gross tonight, and the Chancellor is very proud of this. We made history tonight. $137,395 for this event, and the net was $107,000. So we made history tonight. It's called history making. Okay. The goal was $100,000, and we beat that by $7,000 on the net. Okay? Chancellor back here, very excited tonight. Okay, Margaret, I believe that's it. That's it. Hey, good night. Enjoy yourself. Glad you came. Hope you enjoyed yourself.